Minneapolis, St. Paul, The Fan.
What up, 9 to noon, Nordo in for PA, 651 Carpet Studios. Let me get everything off the board in front of me here. It is the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. Text line's open all day, 9 to noon, 64686. And then also, keep drinks away from equipment. That's also on the board.
I wonder who that's for.
It's, well, he's off till Monday. So as of now, all electronic equipment is safe from coffee with that French roast charge. I am in for PA vocal maintenance. He returns Monday morning. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed as we work our way towards Minnesota Vikings training camp. 19 days from this morning, the veterans will report Tuesday the 25th at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. And we will get into some football as we get to the TimberTech set list. Ben Lieber in studio. That later on. This now. How about these Twins and that firepower?
There goes another one. Gone. A rifle shot to right field. Not far from where he hit the pinch hit home run 2 games ago.
A little lower, a little harder. That was a hard line drive. And just enough to get over the limestone in right field. How many guys are going to miss that one? Eddie Julian. Nice.
Courtesy of Bally's Sports North, Mr. Julian getting things started yesterday in the finale against the Royals, but the Twins were not done. 5 hits on the day, 5 runs, this being one more of them.
Hit hard to center field. Isbell going back, and gone, a home run to center field. Ryan Jeffers with his 4th of the year, and it's 4-0.
A little bit more insurance for Pablo Lopez. Jeffers smoked that ball straight away center field.
Max Fuller producing 9 to noon. 5-0 win for the Twins yesterday. A 3-game sweep, and everybody's happy. And as I was thinking about the opening segment this morning, I was going to do, okay, well, last 3 games against the Royals, the Minnesota Twins have scored 22 runs. I'm sure via the text line or the inbox, somebody can tell me how many games it took prior to this 3-game stretch for the Twins to amass 22 runs. But regardless, everyone is happy. Pablo Lopez, by the way, he spun one, and he's on one right now. Complete game yesterday. Might be the first of his career. 12 strikeouts, no walk shutout for Mr. Lopez. Hero of the day and of the game. Now, Pablo, yes, forever linked to the Luis Arraez trade that shocked the country. No, I would say at least shocked this immediate region. This, like, whatever the 7-county metro area is combined, let's add in southern Minnesota. Let's call it the region. That's fine. Luis Arraez, by the way, a mere 6 of 20 in July so far. So he, a couple of doubles, a couple of walks. In July, he's only hitting 300.
Oh my gosh. Above average.
If we're going to do that comparison forever, we have to be fair. Pablo Lopez for a day, unstoppable force. The reason we traded for him for a day. Arise, he's only hitting .384 for the season. It might be. It's too early.
Above average at that.
Big sample size game. Tough stretch for Luis Arise. But Lopez arriving on a stage yesterday at Target Field, handling the awful Kansas City Royals. So the Twins have won 5 of their last 6, 2-game lead in the AL Central Division. And the weird thing about this, maybe it's not weird, I feel, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, you not only listen to the show, you listen to the station, you love the baseball team, you follow the team. I feel like there's a collective shrug taking place in our midst right now with the Minnesota Twins. There's just absolutely no buzz. Leading a division, albeit potentially the worst division in Major League Baseball. Maybe that plays into it, I suppose. 64686. There's no buzz with the team. Is everybody mad at the manager? You're bored with Rocco. The same answers after every single game. Maybe you're like me, where you're just kind of wishing that with this triangle of authority thing going on, that you'd hear a bit more often from the other two in said triangle in terms of decision-making with the team. You're frustrated and you won't take it anymore. Does everyone just want the hitting coach fired? It's a problem when everybody knows the hitting coach's name because something has gone horribly wrong. There's no buzz with the team. In 2019, it was the year of the Bombas. 307 home runs. Set a major league record. Outpaced the Yankees. The city was on fire. Max, do you remember the Dongtober t-shirts?
Oh, yeah.
It was Dongtober.
Yeah, those were all-timers.
Bombas and dongs all day.
All day.
And there was buzz about that. I just got a text, by the way. I'm still mad at the new hats. Well, they can't get anything right now. I'm with you, by the way. I like the blue, not the blue. It's kind of that cream colored jersey with the Twin Cities.
Those are the ones.
I like that.
Yeah.
The Minnesota one and then the M hat.
Yeah. Those should have been like the standard ones, the go-to.
No, the M is an L. But there was buzz with that team. And it's a 100-game operation. They're unceremoniously dispatched by the Yankees. Can't win a playoff game. They're swept. You get that. I'm talking about the postseason, though. Now, in 2020, there's buzz with the Minnesota Twins because it was COVID and because we were begging for things. We were begging for anything that we could possibly watch. At one point, doing the Saturday show here, Meat Sauce and I think we were watching Finnish. No, it was in Iceland. We were watching somebody set a deadlift record.
Oh, yeah.
We spent an hour on it.
I remember that.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah. And at the time, it was the most exciting thing that any of us had seen on a television in weeks.
I felt, yeah. And, whether it was, weird times. Tiger King released at maybe the most perfect time ever. The Michael Jordan documentary.
I was just about to say that.
We're all stuck at home, wearing masks in our living rooms, segregating in households, but all on our various tablets in different rooms, at least, 6 feet, 12 feet apart, watching The Last Dance. That was sweet. But that 60-game season, Kenta Maeda, his first opportunity with the Twins, in that shortened stretch, Kenta Maeda looked like a potential Cy Young candidate. And there was buzz around the team. Sergio Romo, everything was sweet. Of course, until the Twins were swept by the Astros. They got Dusty Bakered in the 2-game bit. So now, after 2 years of injury-plagued mediocrity, we're back. We're leading the division by 2 games. Probably should be more. And maybe we're still injury-plagued. maybe we're still mediocre, but we're back, I think, or at least for the particular moment. So where's the buzz? And I'll read the entire text maybe later on in the show, but apathy is a word that I'm seeing here in one of these text messages, and that's worrisome, I think. And whether it's in another text, baseball's a dying sport. These are all talkers on a Thursday morning, 9 to noon, with a division-winning team. Again, albeit the worst division potentially in baseball. But the Minnesota Twins are leading said division. They have a right to win the worst division in baseball. Is it just that they can't hit? We asked the team to improve pitching. They went out and did it. Top 5 in just about every pitching category, leading several of those categories. This pitching staff is fantastic. And it feels some ways that it's cobbled together, again, because of the injury issues that persist. And we see off days and good days, and Emilio Pagan's still here. So that's a thing. That's a whole different topic. But there's no buzz. I'm also curious, too, because I don't want to say that I'm old school or OG on this. I've had YouTube TV for several years. So I've had to find other routes to stream Twins games for several years now. But now with this Bally's kerfuffle, I think it's either cable or if you have DirecTV specifically, you can watch it. Otherwise, you're completely locked out of Bally's altogether. Is that why? No buzz with a division-winning team, worst division or otherwise. It's really interesting to me. So 64686, booth at KFAN.com via the email, but the text message line, love that. Talkback still in play. I think they still exist. I know the iHeartRadio app does. But that'll be a talker throughout the show today. But you know what? Let's pump it up. Let's get to the TimberTech set list 9 to noon. Nordo in for PA at 11:30 today. Going to chat with Cities 97's Paul Fletcher. He's hooked in, juiced in, linked up with the Minnesota Wild in this crazy game of hockey. There's a big charity event and a party, a celebration, if you will, taking place this weekend. OAR. There's music and there's hockey at Tree on Saturday. Saucy and I are doing a live show in the penalty box. So non-Voxes in the box at Tree on Saturday, noon to 2. So we're going to have fun with that. But we'll talk to Fletch at 11:30 about the charity angle of it. 10 a.m., jump into the football team with Ben Lieber. And next segment, my buddy Jon Bisswurm from Minneapolis City Soccer Club. He's in studio with me for a couple of segments. But text message, talkers all day, every day. We love it 9 to noon. We love you for listening to us. But Max Fuller produces. I'm Nordo. This is The Fan. We'll be back.
The Fan.
The Fan and NMC Exteriors want to give you a shot to put $1,000 in your hand with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword BILLS at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That's keyword BILLS. Enter it now at KFAN.com.
Can I kick it? Can I kick it?
How about the ability to pay some bills simply by listening to 9 to noon? Use that code. We have the cash contest. I didn't know the cash contest was still going on, so I kind of cut Max off last segment. He was flustered. There was a dramatic pause. We went to break. Then he schooled me. In studio from Minneapolis City Soccer Club, Jon Bisswurm, co-founder, Minneapolis City Soccer Club, at Johnny Business via Twitter. Now, how do I frame this up? Because I want to get to your club, and I want to get to not only the cool things that you're doing in the community for the game of soccer. You guys also experienced some nasty thievery within the last couple of weeks. I want to get to that, and hopefully that's been resolved. You're in the midst of a season. You got the kids, the futures. So I want to talk about that too. But you're Wisconsin, man. That's really what it is. You're Wisconsin, man. And as you asked me during the break, is that better than Florida, man? I think marginally. What? How do I frame it up? My baseball team, as I was talking about during the opening segment, division leaders, worst division in baseball. So as a Brewers fan, what is it like loving the Brewers, who happen to, I believe, be near the top in basically like the second worst division in baseball?
Well, it's clearly 1A, 1B. Whether you're
It's
a
the
Twins
same
fan
thing.
or you're a Brewers fan.
Why did you move from Milwaukee to here?
For work. I was working in advertising.
Quality of life?
Quality, yeah. I mean, it was either here, New York, Los Angeles, or Chicago. And, some people may love those areas, but I'm a Midwestern guy. And
You are.
I still believe that even though Chicago's in the Midwest, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like you're in a New York or a Los Angeles. So Minneapolis was very high on my list.
What are your thoughts about all the serial killers from Wisconsin?
It's a running list, isn't it? And
I found 6 of them here. So tell me, you've heard of Ed Gein.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Next on the list, Joseph Paul Franklin.
The name rings a bell, but I can't say that I'm a Joseph Paul Franklin aficionado and know much about him.
He was, let me see here. Oh, this guy was nasty. He's got 18.
He's got a list.
No, he does. Let me see. Dahmer, obviously.
Yeah.
You're familiar with Dahmer. Have you been to the Dahmer house? Isn't it in Milwaukee?
Well, they demolished that whole, they nuked that whole block.
Did you sell it to a young family from out of town?
Well, ironically, it's right by Marquette University. So I think it might have been turned into university housing.
Jimmy Butler lived in the...
That's where he cut his teeth.
David Spanbauer.
I have not heard of Spanbauer.
Yeah, he's a little bit before your time. My goodness. 3 life sentences plus 405 years. So without getting into lurid detail.
And what's good behavior look like for that sentence?
I don't think there was... Do you remember Walter Ellis?
Yes, I do remember Walter Ellis.
Okay. Let me see here. And then... Now, if you name your last name is Edwards and you name your son Edward, I mean, you're asking for trouble. That's not going to be a regular person.
No. It's funny that you mentioned the serial killer piece is because typically when I'm talking to someone and they ask where I'm from and I say, oh, I'm from Wisconsin. And they say, are you a Packer fan? And the answer is, yes, I am.
Yeah.
I like to feel, and you and I have talked about this, that I'm a different type of Packer fan than some people around here are used to. Or
I'm actually surprised because you're not a delusional Packers fan.
Yeah, I like to live in reality. But the next thing that comes is all the serial killer stuff.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, you got to be good at something. And apparently the state of Wisconsin has a propensity to kick out serial killers. And I don't know where that starts, but it happened.
Have you ever been to Manitowoc?
I have been to Manitowoc. I mentioned I worked in advertising. They were one of my accounts, so I was up there a lot.
Did you ever drive by maybe where the Averys hung out at all? Did you ever meet Dolores?
Well, the thing is that was happening right around the time when I was working on that piece of business.
Wow.
And they were like, we need a positive spin now. And I was like, well, no press is bad press. You guys are getting the spin right now. It just happens to be that the light shining on Manitowoc is a little less favorable.
I think Stephen Avery's innocent. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm just going to say there's no way that he did that.
You look at the, I don't know. I don't want to be a spoiler here, but you watch the Netflix series and, you kind of want to root for the guy not to be innocent, to be innocent, but there's a lot of tangled wires going on up there.
As you know, all jokes aside, I absolutely love Milwaukee. And getting back to the art of baseball, that is the one thing. Because, whether it's the institutional college towns, right? And you played soccer overseas, so you can feel kind of the fanfare and the tailgating, and you've been to enough sporting events where you understand the stark differences and the contrast between enjoying sports within the confines of a metro or a massive urban environment, or hanging out at Miller Park. Now, there's no shade, so stay hydrated.
Oh, yeah, that's blazing sun in a parking lot for 2 hours.
That parking lot is a freaking festival for 3 hours. I think it opens 2 or 3 hours before the game.
Yep, and then an hour and a half after.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's no rush.
Fire that grill back up.
Correct. Some victory dogs.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Get the charcoal chimney rolling and let's have some victory dogs.
Yeah.
You might have to take a nap in the AC vehicle for a little bit, but you get your bearings and you're back in it. That's where... Whether it was the Vikings, and I love U.S. Bank Stadium, but if that was in Arden Hills. That was a massive talker here when we were trying to find a new spot for the stadium. You were here at the time. You probably, while keeping up to date on Avery and Kathleen Zellner trying to exonerate him and Brendan Dassey of charges.
You almost forgot about him.
Yeah. Oh,
I can forget about Dassey.
He still hasn't seen WrestleMania. That's all he ever wanted. All he wanted was to see WrestleMania. But the tailgating aspect of Milwaukee, I mean, I just love that city. And the ability to do some of those things over there, the beer gardens all over the freaking place. Like if we could bring more of those over here. I mean, I love Milwaukee. I can do without the roadkill situation in Wisconsin needs to be rectified.
I just drove by all of it coming back home from
You saw a fair
holiday.
number of it. Absolutely. Yeah. You're known for your toilet paper or paper products in general in Wisconsin. I think you're the home of Shopko.
I believe so.
Harley Davidson as well. How about that?
I think Fleet Farm or Menards.
Oh, big Menards guy.
Yeah.
Love Menards. Not Fleet Farm, though, I don't think.
I mean, yeah.
You'll take it. That's fine.
Yeah. Home Depot, all of them.
I love Milwaukee. Not a fan of the serial killer situation. But you as Wisconsin man, not like Florida man. There's not a lot of bath salts usage in Wisconsin.
I mean, there might be.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I'm not sure. But let's transition. Let's actually get serious here. Next segment, I want to hear about Minneapolis City and a recent event and how you guys overcame it, because I think that's really cool moving forward in a positive light. Some soccer-related conversation and bits with Wisconsin man. I mean, Jon Bisswurm, co-founder Minneapolis City Soccer Club, in studio for another segment. Lieber at 10 o'clock. It's Nordo
on the Fan.
This is Steven from North Dakota. This is our opportunity to get Shohei Ohtani. Offer him one of our starters, Buxton, Kepler. We're not even using Miranda. Throw him in. Give him a $417 million contract. The worldwide marketing would pay for itself in 3-4 years. See you in the World Series. I love iHeartRadio, KFAN. I say good day.
Free talkbacks on the free iHeartRadio app. Hit the microphone. Give us your best 30 seconds up to it. And you can chime in and participate 9 to noon. Shohei Ohtani, man, a starving Twins fan, a starving Brewers fan. Now, from a programming perspective with Bally's, this is something me and both us as Twins fans and my guest, Wisconsin man, Jon Bisswurm, co-founder of Minneapolis City Soccer Club. We're all suffering from programming-related issues.
Sure.
With Bally's Sports, Sinclair Broadcasting. There's bankruptcy. There's controversy. People just want to watch the freaking team. And later I'll get into the text messages. The programming situation seems to be a problem. Shohei Ohtani, I think, is the best player that's ever played the game of baseball.
Could be.
I mean, because when you and of course there's eras, Babe Ruth, and there used to be many that would pitch and hit, but Shohei being one of the best pitchers, one of the best hitters in the game at the same time. Yes, I'm with you on the talkback. It is never going to happen. But I saw the eternally injured Mike Trout is hurt yet again and is going to be out. It might be a wrist situation. He's going to be out a month or two. And so the Angels are going to, man, I just, what is it like being an Angels fan? It might be like being a Twins fan sometimes. Again, injury-plagued mediocrity at all times. But you have this piece in Shohei. Now's the time. Trade for Shohei. I'm in on that. Jon Bisswurm, co-founder, Minneapolis City Soccer Club. I don't know if you know this, Johnny, but we're doing this bit, broadcast your podcast.
Okay.
So now Minneapolis City has the Perfect Pitch pod.
People's
Pitch, excuse me.
It's for the people there.
I was thinking of the movie, which is weird because I've never seen the movie. And that's also Pitch Perfect. It's not Perfect Pitch.
Yeah.
So I'm just stupid.
It's all alliteration.
But People's Pitch podcast via Minneapolis City, it's MPLSCitySC.com. But here's what we're doing. is on Saturdays at 2:30 p.m.
Okay.
So people listen to us. They can agree with us. They think we're morons. That's all good. Love that. No big deal. But a lot of podcasts exist, like the People's Pitch. So you go to KFAN.com and you go to the contest page and you give us 20 to 30 minutes, whatever it is, and you get chosen. So Chad Abbott spent all of his 4th of July holiday weekend not only trying to ruin his son's meal as he was smoking a pork butt for the family, and Chad nearly ruined it, nearly started the house on fire, but I talked about that yesterday. But he listens to all of these podcasts. He picks one. And at 2:30 on Saturdays, we play Rube podcasts.
Nice.
Had a good Timberwolves one on this last weekend, and it was prescient as we heard the news. I believe on Monday that Anthony Edwards was re-signed to a rookie max deal. Might get into that with Max during the final hour on the Wolves. Ant, the future of the team, the new future. History not on his side in some respects, as we talked about, but all the same, excited about it. We need the People's Pitch. Why don't you enter the People's Pitch into the bit?
Well, and I didn't know about it until just now, so guess what?
Get Nate on it.
Guess what I'm doing the rest of the day?
What's Nate doing right now?
Not working on the podcast, I can tell you that.
Okay, well, let's pick it up, Nate. Come on. A couple of weeks ago, so Minneapolis City, you play your games at Augsburg.
Edor Nelson Field.
Edor Nelson, go Augies. 94 in Riverside, and the beautiful cityscape kind of provides the atmosphere of Crows games. Citizens in tow, flags flying. What's up with the trailer? What the hell happened? Disaster struck.
Yes.
Team trailer stolen from parking lot. But tragedy averted. So take me through this process, this harrowing situation that the club was faced with just a couple of weeks ago.
Well, we have two teams. We have our top team. I believe I talked about them last time I was in. But then we have our futures team, which is the team that sets the groundwork for developing talent for the future. So our feeder system. Well, they happen to be also playing in a national league that is against grown men. So it's 16 to 19, 20-year-olds that are playing against, grown talent.
Absolutely. And this is a nonprofit organization, by the way.
Right. We're
fan-supported.
Fan-supported, nonprofit. Our budgets are thin. And the futures team had a playoff game. So our game day staff, which is all volunteer, mostly interns, turns up to open our trailer with all of our equipment in it to put on the best experience that we can for our fans.
Certainly. And
it was gone, like completely gone. And it's not even a case of did someone move it, because we're not a big organization. So if it gets moved, the 4 people who are on the text chain know about it, that it's been moved.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't like Dan he's like, I'm going to move it. This wasn't 6 spaces to the right.
Right. And it wasn't Augsburg saying, hey, we're working on the parking lot. We're going to move this for you.
Right.
It was just gone. And the blocks that we have under the wheels were gone. There was some, I don't even know what you want to call it, some shrapnel from whatever was ripped off of the trailer. But yes, the trailer was locked, so we covered that. It was locked very well, and but inside the trailer, some people might be wondering, like, what the heck is inside of a trailer for a minor league soccer team? It's our livelihood to put on a game day experience. It's championship banners. It's things that actually have meaning to us. Tables, chairs, tents, some equipment for the teams. Water jugs. To make sure the players stay hydrated. It's
simple but vital things.
Yeah, simple but vital. Fan giveaways. Some we do take our merchandise home with us so that that's not in there just in case this happens. But
were the rubber crows in there?
I think they were. Yeah, and the crow costume too.
Come on!
The crow costume too. So you get asked, like, well, what was in the trailer? Nothing of value to anyone else but us. In true theory, right?
Yeah, so, it wasn't gold bricks, but
and it wasn't all of our soccer balls. So we could still play a game. So, but it's taken 7 years for us to build that. The merch booth that Sarah put together, where we sell our sweet merchandise, the racks that she had to go on eBay or Facebook Marketplace and piece all this stuff together over the course of 7 years, that's all gone. And these things are replaceable. The trailer is replaceable, but there is sentimental value for a small club, small sports organization like ours that we built this together and it's taken from us. So we, after a quick regroup, like what the heck happened? And you go down the course of like, can we find the trailer? What do we do? Talk to police, talk to campus security. Ironically, there is a security camera, a 360 security camera right above it. So there is footage. So there is? Yeah, that's obviously being looked at. Also, we get a lot of questions of, what did the trailer look like? Well, it wasn't painted with Minneapolis City pink and black and a big crow on the side of it. It was white. It's pretty nondescript. And it could drive by you 10 times and you wouldn't even recognize it's ours. But anyways, so to kind of close the loop here on what happened, we put on the best game day experience we can for our fans because our fans support the club, and that's how we live. Is based off of our fans. That if you buy a season ticket, you get a voice in the club. You want to join the membership board, which helps us inform all of our decisions as a club. You can do that if you're a member, and then you can run for a board seat. So we take pride in giving our fans the best we can give them on the field and off the field within the small financial means that we do have as a 501c3. So with all that being gone, we don't have the ability now to have the scanners for tickets and things. So the experience immediately from game day gets worse because we don't have all the stuff that we need to pull it off. So like I said, it's all replaceable, but there's a dollar value. We can't just cut a $20,000 check, because if we do that, then our futures team, who's going to Kansas City to play in the final 32 in the nation, we might not be able to pay for them to go on that trip because we have to pay for our trailer and our stuff here. So it's a push and pull with us because of our budgets. So we put a GoFundMe out there, and we put a $20,000, a $15,000 goal on there, and within 24 hours we were close to $20,000, which is fantastic.
I love it.
It's fantastic. And what it did was it gave us the opportunity to see that, look past all the issues, that what we built over 7 years, people locally that know about us, people that just found out about us, soccer supporters groups across the country found out, are donating. Other teams that we play against that we're rivals on the field and maybe a little bit off the field, were supporting us because people are supporting local and supporting grassroots. And, we put the GoFundMe out there. It's still open. If you're interested in donating, you can check it out through at MPLS City SC on Twitter. You can get to it there. You can go to mplscitysc.com. The things that we need to replace, like we said, are replaceable, but anything over that $15,000 helps us replace the little things that we still also need, but they aren't vital for our experience.
Right.
So
all of it goes into the club.
Every dollar.
It's not going into your pocket.
No, absolutely not.
Sweet.
Yeah. Every cent goes into the club. And I will say this, Eric, we are a tax deductible 501c3. So if you do donate to our soccer club, we hope you do it to support the club, but around tax time, it doesn't hurt.
Just something to keep in mind.
Something to keep in mind. So we thank everyone who shared our message. You did. Thank you so much for doing that. Sharing our message, helping us get the word out. And the people who donated, thank you so much. Your $5 to, I think our biggest donation was $1,000. Your $5 to $1,000, it all goes a long way.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate it. And it will make a change for us, and it'll continue to help us put on the experience. Once we rebuild, we'll come back stronger, Eric, than we were before.
And that's part of the reason that I wanted to have you in today. You're my buddy. The last time we had you in, I explained, I'm the guy that has a 6-pack of beer, and then we talk on the stream during your games, and it's great. An absolute blast at Edor and all of that. But in the end, I don't want to say I was shocked or surprised by it. I was just really impressed that in such a short period of time, so many people stepped up to the plate. And, and really, if you think about it, whether it's via GoFundMe, I mean, we could all go broke just by supporting the GoFundMes and, you mentioned the term being pushed and pulled. That is a constant as of this new thing, this flavor of the moment, flavor of the week. But in situations that are detrimental, in situations where people can give and they do so, I was so impressed by the fact that so many people did support Minneapolis City in that just bleeped up moment. I mean, find the freaking trailer. I hope they find it, but in the end, maybe the best idea is just to move on and replace and, kind of shake it off.
Could you imagine being the crime boss whose crew shows up and they think they got this jackpot and they open it up and it's like tables and chairs and tents?
Yeah, correct. No, and this is not a shot at the club. This is like a bad episode of American Pickers. Like they take this thing,
right?
They take this trailer back to the den, to the lair.
Yeah, and there's nothing in it.
Wherever the hell it is. And they're like, well, hold on here. Like, what am I going to do with this freaking tablecloth here?
Well, we were talking earlier about, Twins, Brewers, whatever team you support. I firmly believe that sports at all levels are very tribalistic. You grow up in your tribe. You adopt your tribe early. You defend your tribe almost to a fault, right?
Yeah.
And our tribe in our small slice really stepped up for us, and we're forever grateful for that. And I know that the rest of the folks that are part of the club, not just me, we can't do it without the tribe. We really can't.
Absolutely. That's Jon Bisswurm, co-founder of said tribe. The Crows, Minneapolis City Soccer Club, a nonprofit here in town, developing talent. I think one of your guys actually recently debuted with the big club, the Loons, right?
Yeah, Rory O'Driscoll. We had him. We had him in the booth. What was it, 2 games ago?
Yeah, great kid.
Yeah, grew up in Minneapolis. I believe he went to Washburn and then went off to University of New Hampshire. Played with us for a year. His older brother still plays for us, so they had the opportunity to have 2 brothers play together.
Loyal to a fault, by the way. I asked him to rip his brother Aiden, and he wouldn't do it.
Of course,
he wouldn't do it on the stream.
Of course not. He saves
I'm the only child, so I don't know how that works, I guess.
Yeah, so Rory made his first team debut in the international friendly against Kaiserslautern. So it was
good for
really
him.
Good. Really good.
All right, I want to hit you with this. Switching gears.
Sure.
So this is NBA news, but it kind of plays into soccer. And I don't know if you saw this article, but I think you did.
I did.
Because you do, you have many tribes, mostly Wisconsin-based. You're a big Giannis fan.
Yep.
You cried a little bit when Budenholzer got fired from the Bucks, but you're willing to move on.
I cried harder when they traded Ray Allen for Gary Payton.
Oh, how about that? Yeah, but you got over the hump. Like I feel like
I did. I stayed with it.
At our age, we could probably, between the Brewers, the Twins, the Vikings. Your Pack's got that Super Bowl with 12 in 2010. Mm-hmm. Were you old enough to appreciate 96 with Favre?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so 91.
But then the heartbreak in 97 against the Broncos, so then it all comes crashing back down.
We could go back and forth a lot of ways with the various things we're frustrated on, but that Drew Holiday, Middleton, Giannis, the Bucks title, that kind of puts you over the top. So I don't want to participate in that anymore. How about this? The Final Four of the NBA's new in-season tournament is going to take place December 7th and 9th in Las Vegas. And ultimately, in the end, I guess, I don't know why they would make this news and then not just tell you how it works. Like, ooh, big tease. Oh, we're all waiting with bated breath. In the end, there's another tournament that takes place. Players of the winning team will probably get an extra paycheck or something like that.
I think it is a money bump for the team.
It is indeed. Now, with all of that said, in-season tournaments, and people have asked me this for years. Now, I keep referencing, at one point in your life, you were playing soccer in Germany. Mm-hmm. And so you got a piece of all of that culture where, speaking of tribes, that's why it's difficult for me to have, when I have soccer conversations with people, they'll be like, who's your Premier League team? I don't have a freaking team. Now, I can say that, I love Fulham simply because I actually now have been to London and went to see them play live.
Sure.
So I'm just going to claim, there you go. Fulham, get the scarf out, kegs and eggs at the local on Saturday mornings.
Adopted your tribe late.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. I'm new. I'm still learning the various customs and things. There's a language gap, all of that. The food's just all right. but I'm getting used to my new tribe. But I'm not emotionally compelled. Whereas, and so in that vein, people are always wondering, A, what's Champions League versus this other league? Then there's like this FA Cup that takes place. And, oh, by the way, there's no playoffs. And it's just, it's so interesting where, and now with this in the NBA, these, other than the complete money grab of the All-Star festivities and such that take place in the core four, and including MLS and their All-Star game, the in-season tournaments and the fanfare and the love of that, and then in combination with no playoffs, it's such a unique, different culture shift overseas than it is here when you're watching soccer or we're watching Wild Card Weekend in the NFL,
Well, for me, if we're going back to the NBA, before I kind of bring it to my wheelhouse back to soccer a little bit, I do believe that I looked at the when I read the news, I looked at the schedule. I looked at my Bucks schedule, and they're not adding games. They're somehow saying like this weekend everyone's playing, and it's the early rounds of this tournament, which I don't understand. Like you're saying, they didn't really give a lot of detail around it, but from there, then 4 teams make it to some manufactured semifinal in Las Vegas, and that's where all the money comes in because they're gonna brand it, they're gonna sell it to some corporation to sponsor it and what have you. So I like it because it gives you something to root for outside. Say your team's doing real bad. So say the Bucks, in my case, or Timberwolves in your case, are doing terrible, but they got on a hot streak middle of the season during this tournament and they win it. Like, is that exciting for you as a Timberwolves fan if they win it, or do you not care?
No, it doesn't matter. That's the problem. We've been programmed. So and that's part of the reason that I was looping playoffs into this mix as well.
Yeah.
So now, and specifically, I mean, I don't want to say it's uncompetitive, but it's kind of a 5, maybe a 6-horse race in Premier League, and I think I'm being too generous in that regard. Newcastle with all that newfound cash.
Yeah. Weird what money does.
Yeah, correct. They're in the mix now, but it's the big 4. And that's, your Manchester team, you're a front runner. So you decided that was your club.
Well, let's clarify here. I'm a Manchester United fan.
Yes, you are.
I don't want to get lumped into the blue side of Manchester.
Oh, yeah, okay. There are 2. Yes, correct.
There are
United 2. And City.
Yeah.
But because there's no playoff system, it's just they play, 38 games and they're top of the table. They hoist the trophy, and it's an absolute grind. But still, again, it's kind of a big 4. Maybe we can put a 5th or even a 6th team into that mix. But we've been programmed over here playoffs. Well, where are the playoffs in European soccer? How does that work? And so then that's why I bring that back to the in-season tournaments. The FA Cup in England, Champions League providing more of a European-wide domestic league tournament as well. It's kind of, if you don't have playoffs, these other in-season tournaments really, really matter.
They do.
If you have the playoffs and your goal ultimately is to win in April and not in December, the buy-in factor and the adoption of such a thing, I think it takes time to deprogram fans and appreciate these other small moments within a year.
Well, I think that what we're losing sight of here, Eric, is golf. Look at how golfers qualify for the end of the year tournament. To be, I don't, correct me here if I'm definitely wrong, but is it the PGA Championship? What's the final tournament that you have to qualify for in the golf?
Well, you have the PGA, but in the end, I mean,
is it a FedEx Cup?
FedEx Cup bit?
Yeah, it's a FedEx Cup. So you have to qualify for that throughout that long grind. That's basically what the Champions League is in European soccer. That whole season, you have to finish in the top 4 in England or top 4 in Germany in order to get yourselves into the Champions League the next year.
Right.
So golf's actually kind of already doing it, and the thing I mentioned before that you completely shot back down at me, was caring about the in-season tournament. But for European soccer fans, it's a trophy, and they're all about the trophies. You know, you can have 30 Premier League trophies, and if you get that one Champions League, it puts you on a pedestal.
Right.
And so it's all about the trophy hunt. And I'll bring it back locally. Minneapolis City is playing in the Minnesota Super Cup. It's the first year of it, and we have an opportunity. Even though we're not winning a lot of games right now in our league, we have the opportunity still to win a trophy, and that's what soccer fans really latch onto are the trophies. And it's not a playoff scenario like making a playoffs. Like MLS does it. I don't want to shoot down their system, but. Everyone seems to make the playoffs in the MLS. So
more than half the league, I believe.
So
or about what is it, 7 now?
7 or 8. I haven't looked at it recently, but what's special about that if only maybe 2 teams don't make it? You know?
But we've been programmed. We appreciate the win or go home.
Right.
Because, for instance, in Premier League, if I'm, Everton. Now Everton, man. They were sweating relegation. Mm-hmm. Now that's a whole different topic for another time. But by the end of, I would have said early December, probably, as a matter of fact. If you're an Everton fan, you're just rooting for, can we finally beat Liverpool? Let's have a good showing. Mm-hmm. New kids on the block type of thing. Man, maybe Europa League is in reach. It wasn't, sure as hell wasn't this year. But
sure.
you know what I mean? Where that is it's the manufactured parity and the opportunity that keeps the middle class groups into the mix, right, attention-wise, revenue-wise, those sorts of things, where I'm going to check out. Now, the Twins, they're 2 games above 500. They're leading the division. I'm in. I can't watch a game. I don't know where to watch the team, but I hear
they're doing well.
Via box score, apparently, they're doing okay. So it's interesting trying to build up. I love the concept is what I'm getting into, what I'm getting at. But in the end also, I feel like the buy-in factor is interesting because in the end, what I would like for an in-season tournament is these games to be separate. I don't like, that's that in itself, maybe that'll happen in the future is that, and good luck, these guys can't play 80 games now, more or less try to ask them to put an extra 5 games on a schedule. No, it probably won't work out that way. But I would love to see this being its own organism. And I think that's what would make it different.
Throw the G League in there. Let them all play.
Hell yeah. Let's do it. Thanks for hanging out with me, man.
Yeah, anytime.
I'm glad to, and MPLSCitySC.com is the spot. So learn more about not only the USL2 team that plays at Augsburg, but also the Futures. Again, it's a nonprofit. They develop this game. And development really, I think, is the biggest. I don't want to say it's the issue, but this is where soccer starts in the United States. Is improving the development level, and Minneapolis City have dedicated their entire existence to it. Thanks to everybody that supported them through.
Thank you so much.
An absolute ridiculous, unfortunate event that took place a couple of weeks ago. But MPLSCitySC.com at Johnny Business via Twitter. 2 Z's in the mix. And he's co-founder of the Crows. Cheers, brother.
Thanks for having me in.
That's Johnny. Ben Lieber is next. Second hour ahead.